what opportunities do you see architects are missing out if they're just using photos versus film to tell their project stories?
Well, first of all, A National was amazing. I mean, I don't have to the word to describe this, especially for a non-architect, non-designer, or engineer. It was great to be there. A lot of people was so welcoming, and it was a great experience. This is my third time, not at the National, but talking about storytelling. I mean, I did it on AA Austin, the design conference, and then I did it in the TXA Society of Architects too, and now National. So this is the big leagues, just to make it to there and talk about the work. It was a great opportunity to discuss the direction of the industry, and also talking about the work, how we portray the work of construction, architecture, and interior design and landscaping, and how we highlight who's doing the work and who basically enjoys the project, or who is the user when you finish. In other words, yeah, like I said, the user. So it to me has been interesting how to do the storytelling. But going back to your question, first of all, I don't think photo is just a limitation, and I wanted to make it very clear. I think there are two different mediums. Photography is an excellent medium, and it's very challenging just to tell a story with one image. And your frozen time just like that is daunting. And I try it. I mean, I done some photography, but I don't know. So in my way, I think I'm great doing filmmaking. People ask me that question several times. I said, yes, I would love to take more photos, but you hire people who are big leagues, and they're amazing all the work they do. In fact, when I was in a national with Alexandra, I met Alan Karshmer, who is called the architect's photographer. And I was pretty honored that we bumped into him at the expo, and he said, oh, I'm going to your panel. And I said, what? That was, to me, that was amazing to hear from him. And we went to his panel. We have a brief conversation about it, and we talk about both mediums and how both mediums own their own set of challenges, and how you have the ability to tell stories in so many different ways. So I think for architects, I think it's important that you need to tell stories. And this goes back to the main hook of our panel, which is how mass design decided, this is the hook that we have in our presentation, because they did a piece on 60 Minutes. And basically, they talk about that, film is very important. You need to tell stories. You need to talk about the users. You need to talk about the process. That was a word that is so, so important. And it's great because now we see it more regularly. You see how people talk about the process. You see it on social media, even 15 seconds. Oh, let me show you this 15-second of how the construction is going, or basically a video like Tiny Pictures, how we basically were able to capture in 8 minutes what it's like to, for an architecture firm, create this micro home for a person who doesn't have a home. So everyone is interested in stories. And I think architects should embrace the ability to tell those stories and find ways to use it to their benefit. I've seen a lot of firms who do it. Other firms, I think I have to say that it's a little bit of people are nervous or they have some fear about the use of the technology, and I completely understand. I mean, for me, it was daunting just trying to understand how is the process of architects, but I was able to, all these years, to now find ways to translate every single thing that they wanted to do and put it on film. However, this is a great opportunity that they need to embrace. They need to find ways to, we need to tell this story. I think we need to talk about this person. And sometimes one thing that I always push is, okay, we need to talk to the architect. We need to talk to the client. We need to talk to the users. We need to talk to the landscaper, the engineers. Every single person involved in the process have a story to tell. Sometimes could be really fun anecdotes. And that's why I feel it is important. I'm in conversations with different firms about different projects, and I'm always my initial interviews are very interesting for them, because they asking, okay, so what do you want to know? It's like, any anecdotes? What do you find when you broke ground for the first time? Do you find something interesting? That will be the story. So stories move me in so many different ways, and how in architecture you can find those stories by look into the details, look into how this project started.
Yeah. And I think if the main design team stays on full time, you can take those stories that you learn from all those user meetings. Like, what was the purpose behind the project? What was the main thing the users are needing or wanting from the project? Or, is there a big moment that you are creating new for them that they're going to experience? And then teaching people, like, I'm even thinking like, hey, whoever's on site, do B-roll and know those important moments. And then you could almost build the B-roll for how the construction is to like the final, and being able to tell that story with different audio on top of it. This is a new way for these couple users to come together and collaborate or heal, and then you see it in the final, and then you can do an anecdote at the end. Like, thinking of that as you're designing, but then letting whoever is going to be on site know about it and teach them some minor video editing, or not even editing, just take the video. So then in the end, it's a whole series of things you can build together to create something, and you don't know where it's going to come from. But it's an education part. Or sometimes I miss taking videos or photos, so I'm like, crap, I meant to do that.
I mean, it's hard for me too. Sometimes I go on a site and I'm producing, like recording a video, and I give my phone to somebody. It's like, okay, please take some photos of me, record some videos of me, because I need that for storytelling purpose. I mean, it's not just what I'm capturing on camera. It's like what happened behind the camera. It's also interesting to know. So, yeah.
And I learned a lot just hanging out with you at AI National, because I got to see how you were pulling together different video clips to be able to create and share your story and your experience at the conference, and even be able to take videos of me that everybody will be able to see soon on social media with all the different things I post. But seeing how you captured me having conversations with people, you captured the essence of the event or different critical moments. I even learned just by watching you that I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what you're seeing. And I'm like, oh, he's taking video. Why is he taking a video? Okay, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? So it's a lot about learning design. You just kind of see from learning from others.
Yeah, the national was an interesting process because I wanted to do an episode per day. So imagine what it was for me processing all those videos, and then at night just making sure the video was edited just to submit it to the Instagram the next day. And I still was able to compile all those days in one more video. And I said, this is insane that I'm you're basically collecting all the different events and happenings. But that's a storytelling. You're basically, how do you try to tell a story that happened in 4 days and 90 seconds for social media? That was hard, but it's possible.
And just the best advice I got whenever I was looking to start this podcast and the YouTube channel side of mentorDINO was just start. Your first episode, your first video is not going to be your all-star product, but you're going to learn, and it's what's something new you can learn from each video, each experience. So you're always growing, and then you can look back. Like, I look back at my old videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't do enough. I could have done this, or like you think of it differently. And so now I'm like, oh, okay, what ones can I redo and do a different way, a different lens, and just take things you've learned to fix and modify. But
it happens to film directors too, how they go back and it's like, oh, I'm just going to use some computerized thing and I'm just going to erase this. It's like, no, it's finished. So let's finish it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for architects learning the video production language and capturing their stories?
Well, I think you answered part of that question is first, you need to do it. You need to do it. You need to embrace it. I think people are too wrapped around the fear of, oh, I'm not getting too many likes. This is something that I've been learning for the past few years is, I'm not interested on making a viral video. And this is how society is pushing those limits of you, and you're thinking, oh, I need to make this video that have 1 million likes, and sometimes you're not going to get that. And I think is my biggest advice is, do it, try it, and see the results, because that's how people react to that kind of content. And we keep experimenting. I'm always trying to experiment with times where the photos or where the videos will be posted, at what time, which medium, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, different mediums, the length. I didn't know how powerful it is when you choose a song for a video. What song are you using, and why you're using this specific song, or which songs are trendy and which songs are not trendy. So I think it's a lot of experimentation. So you don't be afraid of the medium. Try to use all the tools. I mean, now we have video editing apps that literally can do a lot of things for you on your phone. There's a lot of potential. Take a leap of faith, and take those risks. Especially, I feel that it's important when you, I think some people are afraid of, taking the risk, and then, it's like, okay, I have a regret for not doing it. I mean, that's in a professional way. Personally, it's a different thing when you decide, oh, yeah, I'm just going to take this risk because if I don't do it, it's not going to happen again. But professionally, it's important to take risk, with your resources and see what, and you can have to create something that is easier. You can create something easy. It's not, I mean, you're not making a feature film for Instagram. Or for LinkedIn, you're making a video that highlights what you've been working on.
Yeah. And I think a good example is even that 3-minute video you created for the, video challenge with the AIA, and you're like, I didn't do this justice, I need to do it a different way, editing it again, and then doing it the way you thought it needed to be done, right? And then seeing all the awards it's gotten, like just kind of reinventing the wheel and testing it.
Yeah.
Has with like WIA and the profile series, have they, I don't know if they've gotten any different like social media engagement with the videos content being added in?
From what I know, is that's another thing. When you using social media to tell stories, you need to experiment different places. Sometimes Alexandra said things like, "Oh, we got a lot of views on LinkedIn more than Instagram," or vice versa. We don't have a lot of control over AA Austin YouTube channel, so we don't know exactly, what is the traction there. We see that the amount of viewers, but I know that LinkedIn is being very successful for that. And I think is also the strategy, because we as videos are about 5 to 7 minutes long. We know that there's some target audience who their attention span is not to watch 7 minutes of video. So the strategy was to create teasers, which is about 1 minute long, or sometimes 1 minute and 10 seconds long. And those are being very successful. Those are very helpful because basically drive the audience to watch the full video. They're interested. Also, there's a compilation video that is being produced at the end of the year with unused questions and answers. So those are those costs, get a lot of traction too. Because people, are thirst to know more about these people. And in fact, thanks to, I think Profiles 2022, 2023, thanks to that one, people got inspired, and they decided to do a dinner series with basically interview some of the people who are in the videos. And they talk about more, people wanted to do more beyond the videos. So I think is sometimes is how you use the medium and how you repurpose the medium. And it's interesting because now I can see that as a pattern. Also, you see a National with Future Focus, which is a series that, and it's been, so well produced. We were able to meet people from the AI Minnesota and the A National, and they created the FAIA Legacy Project. And these are also great projects. These ones are like documentaries about fellows. female fellows, and of course, now the Perspectives series from the AA Pittsburgh. So, and with AA Pittsburgh, because I'm getting like a really good working relationship with the leadership. When with the videos finished, and I said, "Would you mind if we make a teaser so we can just put it on social media to drive people to the YouTube channel?" And they said, yes, let's do it. And then I did a teaser, like a 1-minute thing. So people can just, this is like, okay, this is a minute of what you're missing if you don't watch this episode. So those strategies work.
Yeah. And I've seen, even watching my own stuff, I always find it fun to see what episodes, like, people gravitate towards YouTube versus listening to just the audio, and then LinkedIn versus Instagram are kind of the main two social media platforms. And it's kind of fun to see what ones do well or do differently. And it's always so hard to predict, but I don't know. It's fun to just like watch the data. I'm a data junkie, so it's not like I'm trying to get every episode to beat the one before that, but it's just seeing who's listening. And it's like, oh, because we talk, at least I get to talk to guests, and I'm not just talking to a wall when I do this podcast. But just seeing other people listen and curious to different lives, and hearing the stories we're able to pull out.
Yeah. In other words, I mean, this is basically a 1-hour journey, kind of like a 1-hour journey where basically we're telling a story, and you're basically navigating the story and asking questions to get more answers and get more, information from how I do things. So what is important to me as a filmmaker.
Check out the full discussion from this bite of advice here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more mentorDINO content.